I'm Amelia Morris, Chief Communications Officer for the City of Des Moines. Welcome to City Talk. The warm summer weather is a time when most of us do household projects that spruce up or improve our property. Well, it's no different here at the City of Des Moines. Early spring through early fall is construction season, and this year the city has a number of projects underway. City Engineer Jeb Brewer is here to tell us about the major projects. And later in the program, we have some important tips to help you on your next home improvement. Community Development Director Phil Delafield will be here to tell us about the permits you may need for projects, everything from pavement to plumbing. We have some real news you can use. So stay tuned. City Talk will be right back. Construction season is upon us, and here at the City of Des Moines, the engineering department is busy, building and restoring everything from bridges to roadways and libraries. My guest today is City Engineer Jeb Brewer. He's here to tell us how your tax dollars are improving the quality of life in our community. Jeb, welcome to City Talk.
Thank you.
Well, I know it's a busy time for you, so let's start with how many projects the engineering department has underway, because wherever you turn, you see people working.
Well, typically we award just under 100 different construction projects a year. However, each one of those construction projects may have multiple construction sites, so there are literally hundreds of places around the city that we're doing construction, from street overlays to sewer improvements to major projects like Central Place levee project will be starting this fall. We're finishing up Birdland levee, major projects like Indianola Avenue widening. So there's work all over the city. I know it can be inconvenient for people, but we try to do our best to make accommodations and get the work done during, Iowa has a fairly short construction season, so we need to be rather busy when we have warm, dry weather.
Okay. What types of projects? I mean, there's all kinds of things from buildings to sewers to roads. What type of projects is the engineering department responsible for?
Well, really anything that's a public improvement, whether it's a building, for example, putting in new windows in City Hall, we'll be doing that later this fall. From levee improvements like Birdland, or basins, stormwater basins like Jackson, which we're working on right now, storm sewers, skywalks.
We can almost say you built this city, couldn't we?
Well, at least the public infrastructure, which all the other private buildings, and they need that infrastructure to move goods and traffic and the sewer and the water. So it's important that all the pieces work together.
Well, I know that that's a broad responsibility, and you've mentioned roads and you've mentioned the City Hall. What are the areas or divisions of responsibility for your department?
Well, the engineering department within the city, we really try to work with all the departments in the city. If Parks has a project, then we'll try to design and construct that, or Public Works, or the Aviation Department. So our job is to design and build and construct capital improvements. We also have some other related duties, which is a real estate acquisition. So we're involved with buyouts of the mobile homes for some of the flooding issues that we've had recently. We also have the Traffic and Transportation Department, a division within the department.
And I want to talk to you later on, because they've been making some improvements about in traffic and transportation. Well, I mean, they come under engineering, but you've noticed some different things that are under traffic and transportation, like the new signage. So what other things is traffic and transportation implementing that's relatively new for us?
Well, our Traffic and Transportation Division, they're responsible for maintenance of the traffic signals and traffic signs and markings on the street. They also have responsibility for the parking ramps downtown, the public parking ramps. There's also private ones, which obviously are managed by those companies. Some of the things that they've been working on recently is some energy conservation issues. Third and Court, we're planning to install new LED lighting, which will be more energy efficient. We've got some grant money to do that.
We know LED lighting saves energy. Is the lighting quality the same, better, a little less?
Well, when we deal with lighting that's directly related to safety, we need to make sure that the photometrics are such that we have enough light. And so we really have to design it to be that way. And that's been one of the issues in the early part of implementing LEDs, is that we had to make sure that the photometrics were adequate for the safety. and they've made a lot of improvements in LED technology lately, and so we're sort of on the cusp of being able to install more of those. We've had LED lighting for our traffic signals for a long time, but we're trying now to get the more powerful lights, which are those for like street lights. So it's a design issue.
Well, I know we're doing a lot of energy saving and sustainability projects across the city, but that's a topic for another show. I know that there are buildings being constructed, so are you doing any major buildings this year in the engineering department?
That's what's fairly unique about this summer and some last summers, that the city is building quite a few new facilities. We're underway with the new fire training logistics facility out on Dean Avenue.
So the engineering department is going to be in charge of that?
For the construction, obviously, the fire department's been very involved in design because we want to make sure it meets their needs. And that particular facility will have like geothermal heating and some inventive energy conservation. Later this fall, we'll be starting the new central fire station. It's going to be at 13th and Mulberry. People probably noticed some site work down there. So we've got to build a street and bring in some dirt and some stormwater improvements, but there'll be a new fire station there. Franklin Library is just finishing up.
Yeah, that's going to open later this summer.
That one's an exciting project. It's got we have a process that's called LEED certification, which sort of gives you an idea of how much energy savings a building has. That particular building will be platinum, which is the highest level.
That's top of the line. Congratulations. You know, I'm trying to think in the past, you haven't been building facilities for a while, and then suddenly all of this.
Most of the work that the city does is repairing existing things, you know, sewers and streets. The city's been here a long time, so there's quite a bit of work just repairing what we have. So it's fairly unusual that we build new facilities, and even these facilities really are replacement facilities. Fire Station 1,
yes.
You know, was built in 1937, and the training logistics, those are really replacement facilities for what they have. They've just gotten too old that the maintenance costs are too high, and it's time to upgrade the facilities.
Okay. Well, let's move on. One of the big projects that is highly visible is the Fluor Drive Viaduct. The entire city uses that main thoroughfare. So tell us what's going on right there.
Well, on Fluor Drive Viaduct, we every 2 years we do inspections of our bridges, and as we monitor the condition of those, eventually we have to plan maintenance and rehabilitation projects. And it was time for Fluor Viaduct to be rehabilitated. As part of that study, when we looked at the deck had a very high chloride content, which means the repair that we needed to do is we needed to completely remove the deck. Okay. Oftentimes when we do bridge rehabilitation, we're able just to make spot repairs and patches and then put a new surface on top and maybe some rails and some work on the substructure. This one required quite a bit of work due to the age of the bridge, and so we had to completely remove the deck. And doing that really was a safety issue that we needed to keep traffic off of it while we're doing that work. The deck does provide some structural capacity for the bridge, so when you have it removed, the load carrying capacity is reduced. So we'll restore that. We'll put a brand new deck on it, and we're hoping to have it open to at least one lane of traffic each way by August for the state fair. I know it's very disruptive to the commuting public, and we're hoping that people find alternate routes. And we
have so many visitors during the state fair. I'm sure I speak for everybody, Jeff, when we appreciate you keeping our bridges in good shape because we've seen some real disasters around the country.
Yes, safety is always paramount. We need to make sure that our infrastructure is safe for the traveling public, and even though it may be inconvenient for the construction, it really is necessary, and if people just bear with us, that they'll be able to enjoy a safe, efficient commute to work.
Well, I have so much down here that your department does. Let's quickly talk about the Riverwalk. It's really beginning to take shape. Does the engineering department have a role in that project?
Yeah, the Riverwalk projects, it's really a number of projects that's happened over a number of years. Some of the projects have been designed and are being managed by the Corps of Engineers. There's some other projects which the city has built and completed. Right now, people notice that we're doing a lot of the remaining trail work. A large facility that people might be interested in. There's going to be a kiosk building there at Court and Water Street. Oh. They're building that. A lot of the flood walls are being faced with stone on the west side of the river and the trail connection.
That's really beautiful too. It's amazing how this city has just reworked or redesigned the entire landscape downtown. It's really beautiful.
And of course, we're very thankful for the partners we have, Principal Financial and the other donors that have contributed to the project. It's really a cooperation of public, private, and federal funding.
Okay. I also see that there's a lot of work being done around Court Avenue and the Water Street. What's going on down there?
Well, that project is primarily a flood control project. It's related to the Court Avenue pump station. If people remember back in 2008, we had considerable flooding in that area. This project's helped to reduce that flooding. We're installing a pump station. Part of that pump station, we also have to install new sewers that go up Court Avenue and they'll go up 2nd Avenue. Obviously, it's very disruptive to the traveling public. We want to try to do it as safely and as quickly as possible. So we've had to reduce lanes. There are alternate routes for people. People may not be aware that last winter we did open the new M.L. King Bridge across the Des Moines River.
Yes.
So, if you're going east, you can continue on that, and on Southeast 4th and Southeast 6th, you can then access the east part of downtown or make your way up to the interstate if that's one of your destinations. We've actually put in some temporary signals on Southeast 4th to make
Yes.
that an alternate commuting route. That
I've been using that. I got, the traffic slows because of the construction. And now I guess it's been about a week. It's wonderful, folks, because I just cross over that bridge. I come up 4th Street. And I shaved maybe 5-6 minutes off of the slow traffic going through. So that's really good advice.
And the more people we can get off 2nd Avenue, if you have alternate routes, then it helps those people that do need to use that route. So that's
Okay.
good.
Road work is being done all over the city in the summertime. What advice can you offer motorists for getting around the city? Is there somewhere they can look maybe on the website for if they aren't sure which way to go?
Well, from the website, we do have our construction schedule for residential streets and curb improvements. One of the things we try to do advance signing, and we work with our media outlets as far as announcing projects. So, be aware. Typically, we have advanced signing. Try to allow a little more time for your commute. If you can find alternate routes for the summer, that's also helpful. And the thing is to be conscious of not only drivers but also the workers in these construction zones. It can be dangerous for them, and we want people to drive respectfully and carefully through these construction zones.
Well, as you know, people, there's so much being done across the city, but I'm also curious to know how decisions are made as to which projects we can expect to be done next year.
That's a very difficult process. Essentially, we have lots of things that we'd like to do and need to do, but we only have a limited amount of funds.
That's true.
One of the things that the city has tried to be very aggressive is trying to obtain federal funds and state grants to do as much work as possible with those. So projects that are eligible for those kind of funding do become priorities because that helps us leverage and make the best use of city resources. So, we've gotten funding for, mentioned the Fleur Bridge. We're able to get some state, federal funding for that and other bridge projects. So those become priorities. There are other projects that we develop, try to do it on a need basis. Those things that are in the worst condition, have the most traffic, will tend to come up higher, or things that are safety related. There are times when there are things that maybe take longer for us to get at that aren't directly safety related. Sometimes medians or curbs may take a little while for us to get to them because our funds have to be directed to things that have direct safety concerns.
And those are visual improvements for the most part. Your department does a great deal with those grants, and people should understand how important that is in these tight economic times. It's tight for government as it is for everyone else, but when you go out and are able to bring in grant dollars to our community to make improvements, that's a really wonderful thing for all of us, and we appreciate that. How can our viewers get more information about the engineering department and its many projects? Because you have a lot going on.
Well, if people access our website, you can go under the engineering department, and underneath there we do have list of major projects, not all the projects by ward. There's also a list of residential paving and paving projects for all the projects throughout the city. That's quite extensive, and that's listed under the paving program, and there's listed overlays and slurry seals, and you can find your street on there. It'll list the street name and then the cross streets. So you have to pay attention to that because it might be your street name, but the work may be on a different part of the street. So you want to look at the cross streets that delineate the beginning into that project. And those will happen all through the summer, and there will be other projects throughout the city, sidewalk repairs and ramps that we try to notify the neighbors adjoining before we start that work, and those are hundreds of locations throughout the city.
Well, we know improving the streets also improve the neighborhoods, not only the appearance, but for development purposes as well. So we all really appreciate that, Jeff. I thank you for being with us today. You have so much going on, so we're going to have you back because the city projects are expanding from early construction season to early fall, right? You all work just about until fall begins.
You know, we actually do construction work all year long.
Really?
There are some paving and things like that. We need warm weather to do that. But there are times when we're doing sewer lining projects in the winter.
Oh, that's right.
Where those are underground, and we can continue to do that work. The winter does slow us up. We do have to be careful to make sure that we restore enough of the roads. Since we have snow in this environment, you know, snow removal becomes a chore. So there are things we can't do in the winter. So when we've got good weather, we need to say, you know, make hay while the sun shines. So.
Chip, thanks for being with us. Up next, City Update with news from around city government operations. Here's Shekinah Young.
Spring has arrived and summer is on its way. The City of Des Moines has several opportunities for you to get up and out this season. Come out and enjoy the Farmers Market, open Saturday mornings 7 a.m. until 12 noon, located on Court Avenue, 1st through 5th Street. There's no entry fee, and fresh produce, along with fresh fruit, meat, poultry, and more are available. For more information, visit the website at www.desmoinesfarmersmarket.com. If early Saturday mornings aren't an option for you, cool off in the city's pools and aquatic centers. Opening day is June 4th. The City of Des Moines has 3 aquatic centers. Nahas Aquatic Center is located at 1101 Porter Avenue. Northwest Aquatic Center is located at 4915 Madison Avenue. And Teach Out Aquatic Center is located at 2601 Hubble Avenue. There are also 2 swimming pool facilities. They are the Birdland Pool at 300 Holcomb and Ashworth Pool at 101 Southwest 45th Street. Get your season pool passes today at City Hall, located at 400 Robert D. Ray Drive, from 8 a.m. until 5 p.m. Or call 515-283-4500 for more information. Take in Grays Lake Park from the light of the moon with moon floats, Wednesday, June 15th, from 9 p.m. until 11 p.m. Enjoy the weather with friends and a movie on Friday, June 10th. For floating flicks at 8 p.m. at Teach Out Aquatic Center. There's more fun to be had on and in the water at Grays Lake Park with canoeing and sailing lessons. Canoeing lessons for beginners and intermediates are held on June 2nd, 9th, 16th, 23rd, and the 30th. Participants between the ages of 10 to 15 must be accompanied by an adult. For beginners, there's intro to sailing classes that are also available Monday and Thursdays, beginning June 13th. Classes are 1 week, held on Monday, with additional coaching Thursdays. To register for a class, go to www.dmced.org. For more information on both sailing and canoeing classes, contact Tim Smith in the Park and Recreation Department at 515-248-6314. Make Tuesdays and Thursdays your days to get away. Meet at the Central Library's West Entrance, located at 1000 Grand Avenue, and spend your lunch hour doing something good for yourself. This event is free and open to the public. The yoga sessions will begin at 11:15 a.m. and run until 12 noon. If you can't make it to yoga at the library over the lunch hour, you're in luck, because Yoga in the Park is back for yet another summer. Come join us Saturday mornings at 9 a.m. at Grays Lake Park. So get your mat and towel and meet us at the park. Enjoy the fresh breeze of Grays Lake after a long workday and unwind with Des Moines Park and Recreation and Jasper Winery. The Unwined at the Park series will be held June 3rd, 10th, 17th, 22nd, and the 24th from 5:30 p.m. until 8:30 p.m. This event will feature live music, bottles of wine, and grilled food for purchase, as well as free wine sampling. Contact Tim Smith at 515-865-6564 for more information. The City of Des Moines offers the Spring Cleanup to Remove Urban Blight program, or commonly called Scrub. Scrub is a monthly spring cleaning program free to all residents. This month's Scrub event will be held on Saturday, June 18th, at the Central Presbyterian Church, located on 39th and Grand, from 7 a.m. until 12 noon. The following neighborhoods are encouraged to participate at this location: North of Grand, Arbor Peaks, Greenwood Historic, Sherman Hill, and Woodland Heights. All Des Moines residents are welcome to participate in the Scrub event at the Metro Waste Authority, located at 4198 Delaware Avenue, from 7 a.m. until 1 p.m. The Metro Waste Authority Compost Center at 1601 Harriet is only accepting yard waste and are available from 7 a.m. to 1 p.m. as well. For more information on Scrub dates and accepted materials, contact Public Works Helpline at 515-283-4950. Just a quick reminder, there are several construction and roadway projects going on. Check the city's website for updates and watch for detours. Come downtown to City Hall, located at 400 Robert D. Ray Drive, to watch your local government at work during any of the following meeting times. City Council Workshop will meet Monday, June 13th and Monday, June 27th at 7:30 a.m. City Council meetings will be held Monday, June 13th and June 27th at 4:30 p.m. The Planning and Zoning Commission will meet Thursday, June 2nd and June 16th at 6 p.m. The Zoning Board of Adjustment will meet Wednesday, June 22nd at 1 p.m. The Park Board will meet June 28th at 12 noon. And last but not least, the Library Board of Trustees meets Tuesday, June 21st at the Southside Library at 1111 Porter Avenue at 4 p.m. For more information, call the City Information Center at 515-283-4500. I'm Shekinah, and that's your City Update.
Welcome back. The warm summer weather is when most of us do home improvement projects to spruce up and improve our property. The Community Development Department has a wealth of information to help you get the job done right. Phil Delafield, the Director of Community Development, is here to tell us some things you need to know before you start your home improvement project. Phil, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me here, Amelia.
Everyone should know that the City of Des Moines has a Permit and Development Center, which is the central location for most residential and commercial construction, from industrial projects to single-family home residential improvements. Phil, this is where most property owners should begin when they start a project, right?
That's absolutely correct, Amelia.
Now, which types of projects need a permit, and what are some of the minor things that may not?
Well, most things will require a permit of some sort. There are exceptions to the code that provide for exemption from permit, but that exemption from permit does not exempt you from compliance with the code. But simple projects like painting and wallpapering, new cabinets, carpeting, those are all exempt. But if you're taking sheetrock off the walls, if you're adding a deck, if you're building a room addition, if you're moving walls or partitions within your home, those things will all require a permit. And you should come to the Permit and Development Center and speak with our inspectors to help sort out the code issues that are related to your project.
Okay, can you sort of walk us through the process for coming down and purchasing a permit?
Absolutely. It's a very simple process. You should allow, for most home improvement projects, allow about 20 minutes to a half an hour.
Okay.
You should come prepared with whatever information you can develop that shows what you want to do. Most effective is to have a set of construction plans. Blueprints are what we would call them typically, but they don't have to be fully detailed. We will help you sort through the code issues, making sure that what you propose to build will fit within the codes that we have adopted.
What are the most common improvements that require a permit?
This time of year, we see lots and lots of room additions, deck additions, new decks, fences, garages. Those all require permits. Remodeling of a house, adding a bathroom, adding a bedroom, those all require permits. Simple things like replacing the windows or doors can also trigger permit requirements depending on what you're doing. So to be safe, it's best to call us or stop down and talk to us so that we can sort through the issues.
What is a typical price, or is there a typical price for a permit?
The price of a permit varies based on the scale and scope of your project. It is based on the value of the project. So the code provides a means for the building official to determine the value of the project, and we use nationally derived values based on construction estimates. But if you have a contract with a contractor, or you have a detailed materials list and labor cost, that will help us as well. We want to come up with a realistic value for the project.
Okay, so who's responsible for obtaining the permit? Is it the property owner, or is it the man that you've contracted to do the work?
The property owner is ultimately responsible to make sure that permits are obtained. Des Moines and the state of Iowa have a licensing requirement for some contractors, electrical, mechanical, plumbing, fire sprinklers, those sorts of things. So you can have a contractual relationship with your subcontractor, and they will get those permits. You as a property owner also can get the permits if you're taking out a homeowner's permit for electrical, mechanical, or plumbing work. And certainly you can take out the permit for remodeling or adding to your house. Your contractor likewise can act as an agent for you and obtain the permits.
Okay, now I think those are very important things. So do I, as a homeowner, whoever obtains it, I need to hold on to that?
The permit?
Yes.
Absolutely. The permit is your record that you have gone through the review process and obtained the necessary clearances to make sure that your work will comply with the City of Des Moines standards. You will be issued a permit card for most work that you will undertake. That permit card serves as the record of inspections as well. So it's a very important document that should travel with the property for the life of the property.
And I'm assuming, I know the permit varies, the cost of the permit will vary based on the project, but could you just give us some ballpark range? So if I'm making a budget for this project, I need to also include the cost for that permit.
Again, varies greatly. A room addition to a house might be $300, $400. A small garage might be $150 to $200. It's very, very difficult to give a firm number without knowing the dimensions of the project.
So I probably need to start down there at the Permit and Development Center.
Yes.
Okay, CD is a very large department, and there are other services that are provided in community development. Can you tell us a little bit about the services or the divisions that make up this department?
I absolutely love to tell you about the Community Development Department. We handle a number of things from the very earliest parts of project origination through the life of a building all the way through towards the end of the property lifetime. When a new subdivision comes in, our staff will review the subdivision for development regulations to make sure that streets and sewers and landscaping and green belts and trail access and those sorts of things are properly planned and developed. Once the subdivision is approved, you work through the permitting process to create and build your home and obtain ultimately your certificate of occupancy. Once you take occupancy of your home, you enter the maintenance phase of the property. So community development has inspectors that go out and make sure that properties are maintained in a safe and sanitary manner. Things like junk and debris, junk cars, and those sorts of things are handled. We even address things like mosquitoes when vectors for disease might become a problem. We control mosquitoes through the application of larvicide and spraying in neighborhoods. We also have goals where we try to reinvest in our community, and we try to apply resources to the city so that we can revitalize some of our distressed neighborhoods. So we invest resources in neighborhood stabilization programs, things where people who meet income guidelines are able to obtain resources to rehab their houses or to maintain their houses. And in the end, when a house is no longer viable, we issue demolition permits, and then it sort of starts the whole cycle all over again.
From beginning to the end,
That's
all the
exactly
way,
right.
the whole life cycle of the property. Okay, and under community development, then I think there are divisions that we all interact with, but we probably don't know. But they are the neighborhood inspections, there are neighborhood development, planning and urban design. Is that it?
Permit and development.
Permit and development.
And neighborhood inspections. I think you covered that one.
Okay. But all of these people are there to help us keep our community beautiful, safe, and livable, pretty much.
That's exactly right.
You also have under your community development department or associated with it a number of boards and commissions. Can you tell us a little bit about which ones they are and what do they do? What role do they play?
Absolutely love to do that as well. We have a number of boards and commissions that work through the Community Development Department. We have the Historic District Commission, where the board is charged with determining in historic neighborhoods, are the alterations, the changes to your house appropriate for the context and fabric of the neighborhood. So Sherman Hill is a great example of that type of neighborhood. If you want to change the siding, you would need to get a certificate of appropriateness from the Historic District Commission, and they would evaluate what you're doing in its historical context. We have the Zoning Board of Adjustment, which is intended to provide you with relief from provisions of the zoning ordinance. So if you have a property that you can't meet the parking requirements or you can't meet the setback requirements, you have the appeal to the Zoning Board of Adjustment for that relief.
Wow.
You also have the authority under the Zoning Board of Relief for certain conditional uses. So things like liquor licenses for bars or those sorts of items are taken to the Zoning Board of Adjustment. Another very important board and commission is the Planning and Zoning Commission, and they evaluate land use issues and the comprehensive plan and how the city should grow and develop, and they have a number of charges that they review: proposals, subdivisions, residential multifamily developments, those sorts of things go in front of the zoning board or the Plan and Zoning Commission. There's also the Building and Fire Code Board of Appeals, where the any decisions made by the building official or the fire chief may be appealed. They're considered grievances, and you have the appeal process. It's a due process type of arrangement so that there are checks and balances to make sure that there are not arbitrary or capricious decisions made by any staff members. There are other boards, Board of Power Engineers, buildings that have to have boilers to operate need to have a qualified person to operate those boilers. So the Board of Power Engineers reviews the credentials of those boards, of those people, and makes sure that they meet the criteria to safely operate a boiler. Then there's the Housing Board of Appeals, the HBA, and they are an appeal board to review and hear decisions made by the housing officer. This is where rental properties come into play. So if you have a determination that says your rental house is deteriorating and we want you to fix it, bring it up, and the landlord doesn't agree with that, they would appeal to the Housing Board of Appeals. I think that lists all of our boards.
That's a lot of boards and a lot of functions. These boards are what, 9 people, 15 people? I know some.
The size varies. They are council appointees, and most of them have a residency requirement. We would love to have more people that would be interested in serving on these boards, and if you have an interest in the boards, you should contact the city clerk and your councilman and indicate your desire to serve on these boards. They are important boards, and they have a critical function in the city operations.
Wow. And to get more information on the boards, I think that would be under the city clerk's office on our website. Is that right?
That is correct.
Okay. Well, there's a wealth of information, and I think we're running out of time. So could you tell us how our viewers could get more information on community development and the many services that they provide?
Well, the most useful resource is the City of Des Moines webpage. All the divisions of the Community Development Department have a subpage on the web that tells the roles, gives you very useful information: when are permits required, frequently asked questions, how do I appeal to these boards, how do I apply to these boards, what services are available. That's the best method to get quick answers at any hour of the day. Otherwise, you can call our offices at the City of Des Moines, and we will direct you to the appropriate division or department.
And that information desk at City Hall is 515-283-4500, and our website is www.dmgov.org. Well, thank you for taking time to visit with us, Phil. You have a very large department that impacts our lives in a lot of ways. We'll have to have you back.
Thank you. It's been my pleasure to be here today.
That wraps up this edition of City Talk. I hope you will join us again here on DMTV, City Cable Channel. Every month, we'll visit with a different department and bring you new information about our community. Today's program can be seen again during the replays on the dates and times now listed on your television screen. You can also watch us online. Go to www.dmgov.org and click on Watch Live. DMTV is in the MediaCom digital lineup, and you will find us 24 hours a day, 7 days a week on digital channels 86 and 97-1. For more information, visit us on the web. I'm Amelia Hamilton Morris. Thank you for watching.